Hello, let's talk about approach to Nigerian problems. Nigeria, we've got a lot of problems, yes, developmental. Every country has one or two issues they are trying to solve. But I think in the heart of what is wrong with Nigeria is still mainly systemic, still mainly institutional. So in that sense, I think it's always better we approach most of the problem like that, because I'll use the example with developed nation anyway. But if you look at most problems in Nigeria, a lot of people think about immediate solution. Say for instance, there's issue of police insecurity. The first thing some people talk about is let's create state police. Even when we had subsidy issues, people were siphoning money from subsidy. A lot of people talk about is remove subsidy. This direct symptomatic approach at a lot of things that happen to Nigeria won't solve the problem. We need to look at it systematically. Now, here's what I mean. When we are talking about any problem in Nigeria, don't look at the immediate first level cause. No, look at the fundamental of it. Because if you take a problem and you don't get to the fundamental and just decide that you just want to just create a symptomatic solution. Let's talk about policing, for instance. A lot of people are saying create state police, but the truth is just that the inefficiencies, the lack of funding, the poor management that is happening at the national level will also happen in the local level. You're talking about some states that are not making enough money to even pay salaries to their staff. You're now telling them to bring in the state police. How would they even manage the police in the first place? And another thing is that there are a lot of things that are still very political in nature. There's still a very high level of, segregation, tribalism, sectism, classism to some extent. So if you take this thing to the local level, it will be abused. So what I feel is this: we need to look at the problem. The police, what is the problem with the Nigerian police? Is it funding? Is it recruitment? Is it the system? Is it intelligence? Is it the knowledge of the staff? Is it the personal, the paid, the personal security, the standard of living of the staff that, take care of Nigerian security, the police? I think that should be what we should look at. It is when we've solved this problem, we can now decide that, okay, since it's working fine, what are the limitations? How can we now tailor it down to state police? Because even with federal police, you can still manage it in such a way that there will be a reduced crime rate and everything will work fine. See, no matter the system, you need to figure out how best to make it work. Let me give you a typical instance. In as much as UK and US both practice democracy, but the way the democracy is practiced is different. So say for instance, in UK, an average person in UK cannot choose their prime minister. The only people they vote for is their MPs. It's the MP that chooses the prime minister, and the prime minister lead the government. Let's go to America. American elects House of Representatives, the Congress and the Senate, and they also elect their president. Now, these are two different democratic systems. However, they still achieve a level of development. So the problem is not maybe state police or federal police. The problem is the structure, the systemic structure. The basics in Nigeria have still not been solved. And that is what the major problem is. Don't look at quick fix. Look at the fundamental problems. Look at problem as a whole. Like I said, I like the first principle a lot. Always use the first principle. Break it down into smaller chunks. Look at an average policeman. How much is he earning? Look at his family. How is he feeding? Start from that. If he's hungry, how will he even work well? Start from that. Now look at it. Okay, different places that are being policed. Do they need more policing? Do they need more staff? Things like that. Look at their structure. How are they paid? Are they paid well? How is their healthcare? Do they have enough to cover their bill? Do you have enough to cover their healthcare? Do you have enough to You know, when they are sick, do they get enough health care? How can we support them in this regard? So these are things we need to look at in Nigeria. We need to look at things systemic in Nigeria, and we should not be playing, I don't want to use the word lip service, but lack of not understanding the basics. And this same thing happened in 2015 when they wanted to vote Jonathan out and vote Buhari in. A lot of people felt Buhari anti-corruption and all, but he never really had a plan. But because a lot of people felt the Jonathan government was corrupt, the only thing they knew was, oh, okay, let's change him. Is the better. Buhari was a messiah. Look at what had happened. So even with the subsidy, Tinubu have removed subsidy, but it's not like everybody is making billions, or the standard, the federal government is making more money, but it's not showing in the lives of an average Nigerian. So in Nigeria, let's not be too quick to just pay lip service. Let's not be too quick to apply symptomatic solutions to things. Let's look at the cause, because for every time you keep applying symptomatic solution, the same problem will also still recur, but to show up in different faces. And one of the worst things that can happen is to carry a major problem that's not been solved and take that problem into another system. It will create worse problem, which is happening in Nigeria now. It says subsidy has got they remove subsidy, harmonized exchange rate, things are going worse, inflation is high. You know, it's sad that things are happening like that in Nigeria, but we need to break things down. Don't be too quick to look for the easy solutions. It's hard, it will take a while, but that's the fact. Another thing that I figured out is that a lot of people who analyze matters don't go through the nitty-gritty, because it's much harder. Sometimes they play to the gallery of the media. Okay, this is what people are saying, that's what people are saying. No, try to, you know, break things down more systemically and to the nitty-gritty, and let the principles of what has happened in the past, the mistake we've learned from the past, to teach us how to go forward. So in Nigeria, let us try as much as possible to always attack the problem from the base, understand the system, then from there the results will be better. Thank you. I'll see you on the next one.